Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya
Oh Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya
Gopal Jaya
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe
Jaya Radha Giri Radha Giri Radha
Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya
Giri Govardhan Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Vrindavana
Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Nitai Gaura Chanda Gaura Hari
Jaya Nitya Chaitanya Chandra Nitya Gaura Chandra Gaura Hari
Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jai Gopashtami ki Jai
Jai
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajatina Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Srila Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai नामाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। यमुना मैया की जय। पति श्रोमणी तुलसी महाराज की जय। प्रभुपाद ट्रांस इलेक्ट्रिक बुक एंड प्रसाद डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। हरे कृष्ण दाम मिशन की जय। गोपाष्टमी की जय। जय हो प्रेमानंद। All glories to something new. All glories to something new. All glories to all glories to Guru and Gauranga.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Yashodanandana Bhajajanandana Yashodanandana Bhajajanandana Yashodanandana Bhajajanandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatiravanachari Radha Kunjabihari Gopi Janavallabha Givaradari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Astatatar Shata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaivanarottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Zojaya Madhirayet Rasta Preshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading today from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 83, Text number 8, entitled Draupadi Meets the Queens of Krishna. Shri Rukmini Uvacha Shaidya Marpaitam Udyata Kurmakeshu Chadyaya marpayitam ujaya karmukeshu Rajashvajaya bhata shekaritang Renu Ninye Mrigendra Iva Bhagam Ajaviyutat Sakshri Niketa Charnostu Mamarchanaya Shirukmini Uvacha Jaya Marpaitum Ujata Karmukeshu Rajashvajaya Bhata Shekaritang Renu Ninye Mrigendra Iva Bhagam Ajaviyutat Sakshri Niketa Charnos Tumamarchanaya Somebody want to chant? Rajashvajaya Bhattashekaritam Virenu Sakshri Niketa Charnostu Mamarchanaya
Sri Rukmini Uvacha
Yurguni Uvacha
Charyaya Marpayitum Mudyata Karmukeshu
Jaya Marpaitam Ujata Karmukeshu
Rajasvajaya Bhatas Shekaritan Renu
Rajashvajaya Bhattashekaritam Virenu
Ninye Mrigendra Iva Bhagam Ajaviyutat Tashri Niketa Charanastu Mamarchanaya
Shri Niketa Charnostu Mamarchanaya Mataji. Jaya Marpaitam Ujata Karmukeshu Rajashvajaya Bhattashekaritam Virenu Shri Rukmini Uvacha Shri Rukmini said Chadyaya to Shishupal Ma me Arpayitum in order to offer Udyata holding at the ready. What does that mean? Being ready? Oh. Karmukeshu, whose bows, Rajasu, when the kings, Ajeya, invincible, Bhata, of soldiers, Shekarita, placed upon the heads, Angri, of whose feet, Renu, the dust, Ninye, he took away, Magendraha, a lion, Eva, as if, Bhagam, his share, Aja, of goats, Avi, and sheep, Utat, from a group, Tat, of him, Shri, Supreme Goddess of Fortune, Niketa, who is the abode, Sharnaha, the feet, Hastu, maybe, Mama, my, Archanaya, for the worship. Translation, and then the purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sri Rukmini said, when all the kings held their bows at the ready to assure that I would be presented to Shishupal, he who puts the dust of his feet on the heads of invincible warriors took me from their midst, as a lion forcefully takes his prey from the midst of goats and sheep. May I always be allowed to worship those feet of Lord Krishna, the abode of Goddess Shri. Please repeat. Sri Rukmini said, when all the kings held their bows at the ready to assure that I would be presented to Shishupal, he who puts the dust of his feet on the heads of invincible warriors took me from their midst, as a lion forcefully takes his prey from the midst of goats and sheep. May I always be allowed to worship those feet of Lord Krishna, the abode of Goddess Shri. The short purport. Lord Krishna's pastime of kidnapping Rukmini is narrated in detail in chapters 52 through 54 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. Om Anjana Timarandasya Ginanjana Shalakaya Chakshurmritam Hina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upakaramayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistai Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistai Bhutale Srimati Tamal Krishna Goswami Nityanamane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First again, Sri Rukmini said, when all the kings held their bows at the ready to assure that I would be presented to Shishupal, he who puts the dust of his feet on the heads of invincible warriors took me from their midst, as a lion forcefully takes his prey from the midst of goats and sheep. May I always be allowed to worship those feet of Lord Krishna, the abode of Goddess Shri. So I guess they're at Kurukshetra, and Rukmini Draupadi is asking the queens of Krishna how they ended up getting married to Krishna. It's kind of like some of these devotees ask another devotee, how did you become a devotee, or how did you come to Krishna consciousness? They all had different stories to tell. So Rukmini had a very dramatic elopement with Krishna, and she says it in a very short one paragraph, but it's a beautiful story. So she dramatizes how the kings were at the ready, I guess, meaning that they were ready to shoot their arrows at Krishna and his men at the slightest sign of his wanting to take Rukmini. And how she uses the phrase, he took me from their midst as a lion forcefully takes his prey from the midst of goats and sheep. So earlier in the 10th canto, she had used the same analogy of a lion. She said, let Shishupal never touch the hero's portion like a jackal stealing a lion's property or share. So she compared Shishupal to a jackal and Krishna to a lion. So in this verse she's saying, as a lion takes his prey from goats and sheep, sometimes goats and sheep are the prey of lions, but this is saying he takes his prey in front of the goats and sheep. So what kind of opposition can a goat or a sheep offer to a lion? So it's a very powerful analogy. And when I read a little bit of this chapter, 3 of the queens that are asked by Draupadi to explain how they got married to Krishna, 3 of them use the same analogy of the lion. In verse 12 of this same chapter, the Queen Mitravinda explains that at her marriage ceremony, or Swayamvara, quote, he took me away just as a lion removes his prey from the midst of a pack of dogs. And a little later, another queen, Sri Lakshmana, used the same analogy of a lion. She explains that when Krishna married her, Druka, Krishna's charioteer, drove the chariot as the kings looked on, like small animals helplessly watching a lion. So Krishna is compared to a lion 3 times right in this chapter. And I kind of looked up some other appearances of the word lion in the Prabhupada's books. So the lion is said to be the king of the jungle, the very most powerful animal of all the animals. So but comparing Krishna to a lion is very natural. Krishna being the most powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only the king of the jungle, but the king of the whole cosmos, the whole creation. So in the Bhagavad Gita, when Bhishma blew his conch shell, it was described like as Sima Nadam. Sima means lion. And his conch shell was like the roaring sound like that of a lion. And also in the first canto, Bhishma describes the wonderful pastime of when Krishna, who had promised not to actually fight in the Battle of Kurukshetra, but just be a neutral personality, either giving his army or being a charioteer. Even though Krishna promised to be neutral, Bhishma remembers how Krishna got down from his chariot, took up a wheel and ran towards, in his words he says, ran towards me just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. So Bhishma was very powerful Kshatriya, grandfather of the Guru dynasty, and so he doesn't compare himself to a dog or a jackal, but to an elephant as a great warrior. But still, even though a lion is smaller than an elephant, apparently a lion can defeat an elephant. So Bhishma used this analogy also. We were just reading the story of the Shamantaka duel, where a relative of King Kshatrajit, kind of in a mood of wanting to show off, borrowed the Shamantaka jewel and, wore it, and kind of flaunting his status as having, using the Shamantaka jewel to puff himself up. And Krishna described that a lion killed him. So in some of Prabhupada's purports, he describes how the lion is also a symbol of death for the living entities. Lion is the ultimate destroyer of any animal that he wants to destroy. So sometimes the lion is symbolic of death. Also, there was so great kings are sometimes compared to a lion. King Parikshit had had a flag, and he had a lion on the flag. And there's some descriptions of an Arjun's flag where he had Hanuman, but King Parikshit had a lion. And King Prithu was a great Vedic king, and he was compared to a lion. In the 4th canto, there's a verse where it says, when the lion travels in the forest with his tail turned upwards, all menial animals hide. So King Prithu made all the thieves and rogues recoil in fear because he was such a powerful Kshatriya, powerful king. And in India, there's the Sikhs that wear the turbans. A lot of their last names are Singh, which means lion. So they're fierce warriors, fierce fighters, so they have the name lion. There's another verse about King Prithu in which it's described, in thoughtfulness he was like a lion. So I was thinking, how is a lion thoughtful? I haven't really got any clear conception of that. Does anybody have any comment on that?
If you watch a video about a lion, when he's stalking the prey, he's very thoughtful. He's like looking, he's hiding in the grass. He's making sure that, he can pounce ready. So he's pretty thoughtful. Lions are pretty smart.
One thing you could say about a lion is that he doesn't, whenever he decides to do something, he does it. Shishivara Nilamada Ki. Prabhupada in some purports explains that even a powerful creature like a lion or a tiger has to work. In one purport, Prabhupada said, a lion has to, he was discussing vegetarianism and meat eaters. He said, vegetarians, it's easier to get vegetarian food, because things are growing all over the place. You don't have to be a great warrior to pick a banana from a banana tree or milk a cow or something. But if you're a meat eater, you, like Prabhupada explained in one purport, that just because you're a lion doesn't mean like animals are going to come and say, I'm offering myself, I'll jump into your mouth. So he said even a lion has to work hard to get its prey, but a lion eats just about maybe once every 5 days or something. He catches some big zebra or deer and eats his fill, and then he's, has to be satisfied. So he doesn't. There's a verse, Vyava Satmika Buddhi Ekeha Kurunandana, that those who are resolute in purpose, their aim is one. So in that sense, a lion doesn't fool around chasing little mice, but he goes for one big, Prabhupada used the phrase, catch the rhino. So Prabhupada said, if you do some preaching, you might as well, have a high goal. So the lion, there's also a description in the fourth canto, one purport, Prabhupada says, the lion is very powerful. He is a flesh eater and very strong, but he enjoys sex only once a year. So in one sense, if that's true, which apparently it is, the lion doesn't get diverted with so many side issues. He's not Bahu Shaka Siyananta Shah. His consciousness is not splayed out, many branched. Prabhupada says, I wrote down the quote, Prabhupada is the king of the forest, but still it has to work. The lion can't simply lay down and hope some animal will come and say, my dear lion, please open your mouth and let me enter. No, even he's the most powerful animal. He must work very hard to acquire his food. Similarly, the President of the United States, the most powerful man, is working hard. So there's so many, when I looked up references to the lion, there was over 1,000 in Prabhupada's books. There's one description by Lord Shiva in the fourth canto that Lord Krishna, the Lord has shoulders like a lion's. Prabhupada explains that a lion has powerful shoulders and his mane, his hair is very beautiful. So Krishna has beautiful hair, powerful shoulders. In the fifth canto, there's some description that a roaring lion is compared to imminent death. But it's described how a materialist, he's like enjoying the birds chirping on the branches of a tree. Then he hears the roar of a lion, which is like death, and the birds on the branches of the tree are like family members or material well-wishers. So when the lion roars, the person may give up his dependence on these birds in the tree like his family members, but then he often, Prabhupada laments that takes shelter of friends like cranes, herons, and vultures, which Prabhupada compares to bogus gurus, swamis, yogis, or people that claim they're incarnations of God. So rather than taking shelter of someone that can actually really protect him from the roaring lion of death, he takes shelter of false lions, false gurus. And Prabhupada, in that same purport, he mentions that this is one of the biggest obstacles to the proper understanding by the living entity, is that when he finally gets fearful of material existence, he takes shelter in the wrong thing. So there's some comparisons in Greek mythology. Heracles had a big wrestling match, epic wrestling match with the lion. And some of the early Greeks that came to India, they actually compared or saw Heracles as the same as Krishna. So Heracles defeated the lion in the Greek mythology. So there was a battle when Alexander the Great conquered part of India. He gave up. He didn't complete it, but he fought a great big king named Porus, Indian king. And Alexander the Great used some techniques that weren't on the honor code of Indian fighting. Of course, in Kali Yuga, nobody follows that. Even in the Mahabharata, they made some violations. But there's some description of some of the battles that the Greek historian said that the Indian fighters were carrying a deity of Heracles. And one scholar said that is Krishna, they were carrying the deity of Krishna, but the Greeks called him Heracles. Of course, we have the most fearful, the real incarnation of Narasimha, the half man, half lion, the most fearful incarnation of Krishna, who when Nrsingadev, when he killed Hiranyakashipu, all the demigods were put into fear also. And only his son, Prahlad, could calm down this angry incarnation of Nrsingadev. So, apparently I looked up on the internet and there's a half man, half lion sculpture that archaeologists found in Germany. And somehow they dated it as 32,000 years old. In Egypt, there's a half woman and half lion form. I saw that sculpture online. So there's some comparisons of when King Muchakunda saw Krishna, he described him as he moved with the agility of an angry lion. And Keshi, the horse demon, there's some descriptions of Lord Nityananda. There's one description in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that he looked like a maddened lion. And Lord Chaitanya, on his tour of South India, was described that he was almost like a mad lion. And when he went and preached, he was like a mad lion. He chanted Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Then there was one so we know that also that Prabhupada's guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, was described as the lion guru, Sima Guru. One of Prabhupada's disciples wrote a Vyasa puja offering. Use roaring of the message of Lord Chaitanya. I think it was the appearance day of Bhaktisiddhanta. You whose roaring of the message of Lord Chaitanya will pierce the dark jungle of Kali Yuga. Then the jackal that is our mind, on hearing such a roar, may run to relinquish the evil thing that it has stolen from the lion to enjoy in fearful secrecy. So this devotee compared his own materialistic mind to a jackal, which steals some eatable thing from this should be for the lion, and then he's fearfully, trying to relish this stolen thing, stolen property. And one of the Vyasa Puja offerings that I saw, there was a reference to a lion. It was by Brahmananda Prabhu. He wrote, Srila Prabhupada is the Jagat Guru, the spiritual teacher of the whole world. Others may claim to be Jagat Guru, but they haven't been outside of India, even in their own state of India. In the jungles, the jackals howl. Sometimes they think themselves the lords of the jungle, forgetting that the lion is the real king. They can go on howling, but as soon as the lion appears and gives one roar, they all scamper. So for all the so-called swamis and yogis and gurus, Srila Prabhupada's achievement is very embarrassing. So there was some mention of this phrase Jagat Guru, so Prabhupada didn't like it used by Mayavadis, who sometimes they don't even go out of their own village, and they criticize Prabhupada for going out of India. If anyone is a Jagat Guru, it's Srila Prabhupada. Through his books alone, his books go all over the world. Like, one time I sold a book to some rich people from Iran during Christmas time in Houston. And it's hard to distribute Prabhupada's books in Iran, but they were going back. They were just on holidays. So the books go everywhere. And there was some discussion of, can this phrase, Jagat Guru, be used to honor Prabhupada? And I looked up some references to that, and there was many devotees, like while Prabhupada was still on the planet, they used the phrase in the Vyasa Puja offerings. There was probably about 40 offerings where devotees glorified Prabhupada as a Jagat Guru. Like Vidayananda Maharaj, Jayadvaita Maharaj, Ravindra Swarup, scholars of our movement, knowing that that phrase does can be applied to someone like Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, in one purport, Prabhupada wrote that anyone that can control their Vachravegam, Manasavegam, Jivavegam, Uttara, Pastavegam, who can control their mind and senses, tongue, belly, and genitals, is fit to be a spiritual master for the whole world. And in one purport he said, anyone that teaches Bhagavad Gita as it is can be considered a Jagat Guru. So, anybody have any comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for your class. I just wanted to make one addition, mention how I thought it was interesting also hearing about the qualities of the lion, and in the actual pastime when Krishna kidnaps Rukmini, I remember a couple of the verses were from the perspective, it was what Jarasandha was saying. And he was actually, what he was saying was he was comparing himself and the other princes and kings to the lions, and Krishna was the one who was the lesser animal stealing from the lions. So I thought it was interesting to see how it kind of represents like the puffed up false ego, thinking ourselves as the lion rather than really Krishna.
Yeah, I remember when we read that, he compares himself to, and his friends to lions. Prabhupada used the phrase, being a lion on the chase and a lamb at home for devotees. So sometimes devotees, when they go out to preach, we should be sometimes a little aggressive just to meet people, and you have to kind of be a little bit aggressive. But when you come home from the temple, you should be mild like a lamb. And some of the lady book distributors, they're told to be very shy and chaste around the temple, which is said to be a good quality for a woman in the Vedic culture. So they said to Prabhupada, when we go out to sell books, should we be like that also? And Prabhupada said, no, be like a lion on the chase and a lamb at home. So sometimes lion is also a symbol of a masculine animal. The lioness is the female, so Krishna is the supreme Purusha, the supreme male. So when we try to be like the Purusha, especially in our dealings with other devotees, we're trying to be like the lion. And Prabhupada told an interesting story of a lion that was drinking from a pond some water. On the other side of the pond there was a deer or it was a lamb. So the lion was on one side of the pond drinking water, the lamb was on the other side. And the lion wanted to eat the lamb, but he gave an excuse. He said, you're making the water muddy by your drinking water on the other side of the pond. And the lamb said, come on, we're 50 feet apart. I'm not really making the water muddy. But the lion was trying to find fault with the lamb. So sometimes we try to find fault with devotees to justify acting like the Purusha or the controller or so, yes,
How Prabhupada said we should be a lion on the chase and a lamb at home. he also said that we should have the courage of an Englishman with the heart of a Bengali mother. So it's similar, like,
Similar.
Yeah. And then I was watching a class, Hare Krishna, Shishi Radha Nila Madhava Ki Jai. I was watching a class in LA, and I think his name is Ananda, maybe Ananda Kirtan Prabhu, somebody. He said that when the Panchatattva, or when Lord Chaitanya came, I guess, down, there was actually, somebody roared like a lion, like I think it was Lord Nityananda, somebody roared like a lion, and it could be heard around the whole world. This roaring could be heard like in France or somewhere. It was like a loud, it was like a real, actually happens, like, you can research it, it's in Google somewhere. And yeah. And you mentioned about the president, right? Like, the president has to work hard. They took a photo of Obama before he took office. I think his hair was like, black. And afterwards his hair was like white. So he worked like an ass. But he didn't do much. Yeah. And today there's 4 events today. What is it? It's like, go past? Yeah. Yeah, go past me, Ghost asked me. There's also Sri Gadadhar Das Goswami disappearance, Sri Dhananjay Pandit disappearance, and Sri Srinivasa Acharya disappearance today. So 4 things today. It's a very auspicious day today. So, maybe today we can eat less and sleep less and, do some hearing and chanting more. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavatam ki.
All glories to His Grace, Sarvabhauma Prabhu, the veteran book distributor and expert writer. Hari Hari Bol.